And we are unmuted. All right.
Woo!
So, if you happen to be watching this, welcome to the very first episode of Prose and Pain, the show where we read whatever interesting or obscure fiction we feel like reading that week, namely in the romance or adult persuasion, and we give our very, very, very honest opinion of the content of said books. I'm Melinda, and let me introduce you to my co-host, Sonia. Say hello, Sonia.
Hello, Sonia.
Today we are reading... Well,
I'm a scamp.
Yeah, that too. We are reading the infamous Rough and Ready by Sandra Hill. There we go. Got my little box up with the title art, with the them abs, the galloping abs, as it were. So yes,
as famous galloping abs.
Yes, as you unfortunately told me, the abs don't gallop in the actual text. It's made up.
Which is the biggest letdown of my life, to be perfectly honest.
It makes the top 10 at least.
Yeah, for sure.
What the fuck?
Jesus.
The chapter that gets most people into dramatic readings or shitty romance, it's not real. It's made up. It's not in the text. And I checked. I checked thoroughly.
We're starting this by ruining everyone's dreams.
Yeah. Okay. So
we're starting with a good, a feeler for how this is going to go. First of all, Santa isn't real and there's no Easter Bunny. All right, kids, now let's get going.
Oh yes, if there happen to be any children watching, first don't.
Yeah, please don't.
Because we just ruined Santa and the Easter Bunny. But also, the books we cover are probably going to have adult content in them. Just FYI.
Woo! Yeah. Don't even get your parents to help you watch it. None of that. Just no. Don't.
Nope.
Just look away. Block your ears. All of the above. Just get out of there and go watch some. What do kids watch? Barney the Dinosaur still a thing?
SpongeBob?
SpongeBob. Go watch SpongeBob.
I know more adults that watch SpongeBob than I know children.
That's deeply sad. All right.
So we are starting with the prologue of Rough and Ready, and you are reading, right?
Sandra Hill.
By Sandra Hill.
Yes. And I am starting us off in the already deeply eloquent prologue.
I just have one question before we start. Are you going to do the voices?
I will try, certainly. I can't guarantee that I won't break repeatedly. But, what's a reading without some really shit Australian-made voices?
Yep. Alrighty. Let's give it a go.
Alright. Just gonna sit up straight. Hold on, don't mind me. What would you do if you could change history? Huh? I drove all the way from Coronado for you. Is that supposed to be Whatever. I drove all the way from Coronado for you to ask me that? To Rolf Magnuson was not amused. The question had been posed by his sister, Kirsten, a PhD scholar of ancient studies who taught at UCLA. Her Mensa brain was always pondering crap like this. If you could go back in time and eliminate a Hitler, singular, a Hitler before the Holocaust or prevent the Black Death, would you do it? She persisted. What? This is why you dragged me to these dusty stacks? To ask some dumbass hypothetical questions? Terrell sneezed for about the 20... Did he sneeze that sentence? Or did he sneeze afterwards?
For the 20th time? What the...
Because you can't sneeze a sentence. You can try, but it might be really difficult. And I don't really want to emulate how that would work. Because I might actually just die.
We'll blow out the mics at least.
Why is he sneezing some... Oh, because they're in dusty stacks, right. Alright. I'm assuming they're in some books of some kind? I mean, around books, not in books.
It doesn't clarify where they are.
It does not. I thought they were driving, because for some reason it said... I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I'm serious. Would you? Terrell shrugged. I'm sorry, but if someone said, would you go back in time and stop, all these people from dying in the Holocaust, and you went, I think you might be the worst person ever. But anyway, moving on. He had only a weekend liberty from his Navy SEAL duties. I know that's an acronym, but I wanted to say it like that.
Thank you for blowing out my ears.
You're welcome. and he was wasting time playing what-if games with his sister. He'd rather be back at the Wet and Wild having a beer with his buddies and a little female companionship, not of the sisterly persuasion. Thank you for specifying that. Ben, I
Yeah.
really wish I was fucking women who weren't my sister right now.
So I can explain the Wet and Wild thing at least somewhat in that.
Oh,
So
good. So it's not the one at the Gold Coast, I'm assuming.
no, I don't know about the Wet and Wild or specifically what he's referencing, but I do know that the book that we're reading, Rough and Ready, is like the 7th in a series. Oh, it's the 6th in a series. And the 4th one in the series is apparently called Wet and Wild. So I'm assuming it's a reference to that.
Man, I wish I was back in the 4th book.
Yeah,
Mark.
I wish we'd stopped 6 books ago.
Man, can this woman please just let me stop? I don't want to do this anymore.
Maybe one day we'll cover all the rest of the books. And then again, maybe we won't.
Anyway. Don't be such a grouch. Kirsten pulled a thick tome with a crumbling leather cover off of a high shelf and placed it carefully on a table. Look at this! He exhaled with a weary sigh of surrender and sat down in a chair next to hers. The sooner he got this over with, the better. I think I might have discovered some of the lost pages from the Old Norse Chronicles. Look at this! You know, that old book, the Old Norse Chronicles. That's how they title fucking musty old... But if it's a musty old tome, why is it still called the Old Norse Chronicles? Surely
Yeah.
it was just the Norse Chronicles at the time that it was made.
I don't think she thought that hard when she was writing it. But yes, it's like someone writing them in like the old history of the 21st century.
Oh, goodness. All right. In this year, Steinulf proclaims himself king of all the Norselands, following a 10-year reign of terror. Thousands upon thousands of Vikings from Norway, Denmark, and Sweden fall to his sword. Torture and rape abound. Woof. Great guy.
Lovely.
The heads of babes are carried on his soldiers' pikes. Goblets of sword dew are drunk by his chieftains. I'm sorry, what is sword dew?
Is it blood? Is sword dew meant to be
Is
blood?
sword dew blood? Please Google sword dew for me.
I will. Sword dew. I'm just being sent to Pokemon.
Goblets of Pokemon. Please no, sir, don't drink me.
It's recorrecting to like Soul Dew, which is apparently a Pokemon thing, but I don't know. I don't play
would
Pokemon.
not know. Wouldn't know. I know a decent amount about Pokemon, but don't know enough. Apparently.
I'm just gonna consider it to be blood, and saying that the chieftains are drinking blood out of goblets. It's a very visual
tasty
thing. Yeah.
Sound the irony. God save us from this heathen beast. A chill ran up to Rolf's spine. I can't get over that name.
To Rolf.
His family had suffered much at the hands of this monster. Here was proof that his bloody path had gone way beyond what any of them had imagined. What does this mean? Oh, sorry. What does this mean? Why did you show it to me? Kirsten got that earnest, some might say rabid, look on her face. The one that meant she wouldn't give up till she got her say. I know that history can't be changed. That why is it always a Hitler? A singular Hitler.
I don't know.
I know that a Hitler and the Holocaust can't be erased, but this history, she tapped the ancient book, no one knows of it but us. Maybe this kind of history can be changed. What do you mean nobody knows of it? Are you just in a library? Where are you? Tell me. Why me? Our family is safe and happy in America. I thought we decided long ago that revenge wasn't worth the danger. He knew how selfish his words sounded once they left his mouth. This went way beyond his family and vengeance. This changes everything. How? Kirsten just stared at him. You're right, he said after several long moments of thought. Someone has to stop the madness.
I like how she adds that it's been several pauses after he's already spoken, as if that's not how you meant to write a book, where you do things more or less in order and you don't just sort of retcon. By the way, there was a pause there. I didn't write in a pause there, but just so you know, there was a pause there.
Uh, all right, are we ready for chapter 1?
Chapter
Prologue
1.
is Dunzo. What?
I'm
Why
ready.
is this in bold? Chapter 1. Wanna take a little road trip, buddy?
Is it meant to be the
I'm saying
chapter
it weird 'cause it's in
title?
bold. Is that the title of the chapter? Why does it say chapter 1 underlined and italicized, and then in bold says "wanna take a road trip, buddy?" question mark ellipses.
Yeah. Look.
Why am I questioning this? I don't know. Whatever. Navy Lieutenant Torolf Magnuson put his face in his hands and counted silently to 10. Only then did he look up at four of his teammates from Force Squad. Sorry. Force Squad, 8th Platoon, SEAL Team 13, and say, "Get lost!"
Wow. Oh, okay.
No chance!
I'm just going to interject, just in case anyone ever watches this. By the way, there's about to be some real iffy racial stuff happening. Okay, carry on.
Cool. Oh, he's Cajun. I just saw that there. Okay.
Yep.
No, I can't do the voice.
Please don't do an accent. Please don't do an accent.
Not a chance.
What?
His best friend, Petty Officer Justin Cage, LeBlanc said with a laugh. LeBlanc was Cajun from southern Louisiana, and the biggest thorn in this sailor's ass when he wanted to be, like now. Torolf, who was known as Max to his friends.
What?
You know, when you nickname Torolf, it is obviously going to be Max.
Yep.
Resumed packing.
Shows none of the letters.
Seabag sat on the bed in his apartment in Coronado, California. Is that? I've never heard of that. Home of the U.S. Naval Amphibious Base, as well as Bud/S. Buds with a
Buds.
yeah, who fucking knows?
We're best buds.
Training ground for the Navy's elite Special Forces unit. He would soon hitch a ride on a military transport to Germany, and from there take a commercial flight to Norway.
There's a lot of military words in that little passage. It's just like, by the way, did you know that they're in the military? Did you know that these guys... Yeah, no.
His buddies surrounded him in his bedroom? Okay. Trying to change his mind about leaving.
There's a very different scene. You could write this in a slightly different genre of erotica novel.
They surrounded him. Anyway. They're just going to form like a JO circle. Anyway. Just writing my own gay fanfic. It's all good.
Yeah, but you can't market it to white women doing that.
I mean, you can. I mean, if John Locke and Destiel has proved anything, white women are really into gay boys.
They are. They're just not into...
As long as they're also
They're not
white.
into gay JO circles from military men. It's usually...
You don't know that. Don't you generalize. People could be into anything they want to be.
En masse.
If they want to watch men jack off in a circle, that's their prerogative. Anyway, not where I thought this was going. Not just Cage, but also Lieutenant, in brackets, JG, Zach, in quotations, pretty boy, Floyd, an ex-race car driver. Starting a sentence with "and," that's bold.
Mm-hmm.
And Lieutenant JG, also JG. Is that a rank?
Not
or is that I assumed that was initials.
I think it's got to be some kind of rank because
Gotta be some kind of rank. Lieutenant Jacob Mendoza, Jam ex Jesuit priest.
Jesuit.
Cool, Jesuit. There was also Ensign Merrill, Greek good.
Geek good.
What?
He geeks good.
I read it as Greek.
These are awful names. We've got Zach Pretty Boy Floyd and Jacob Mendoza Jam. Jacob Mendoza.
Yeah, his nickname isn't even Jam. It's just Jam. Jam is just secondary in that sentence, and I don't know what it means.
I think it's meant to be another, but they've changed format in the middle of naming people. I think it's another nickname.
Ensign. Who wants to bet that these fucking characters that they're taking all this time to introduce won't mean jack shit in the long run?
Yeah, I'll vote for it.
There was also Ensign Merrill Geek Good, a young computer prodigy. Geek was the only ring knocker among them, being a Naval Academy grad.
Literally
Cage
no idea. Sorry. No idea.
Cage shoved the duffel bag into the side and lay down on the bed, arms crossed under his head. Is he just laying on Tarolf's bed? This is getting closer to my fantasy by the second. Can I just point that out right now? Smiling up at Tarolf with exaggerated innocence. Ha! Cage hadn't been innocent since he'd fast roped down his mother's umbilical cord and out of the womb 30 years ago. Who describes a birth as fast roping down an umbilical cord?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Just imagining him like fucking abseiling out.
That's the wrong noise. It's more like a whoosh. And you just know he's wearing a fedora.
Right now, Cage was playing self-appointed spokesman for, this Batinsky bunch who not. Why is there a comma there? Batinsky bunch who nodded or grinned at. Why are there ellipses? What is going on? Or grinned at every blinkin'. Why is there suddenly an accent? That's an accent.
This is impossible to read. I did warn you. This is impossible to read.
Making my brain bleed to try and translate every blinkin' thing he said. Even simple stuff like, "Where are you going, Max? Really?" Or is this? Oh, was this the guy with the Cajun accent? Is that why it's no? But it's in Tarolf's head, right?
Tarolf is just thinking with an apostrophe.
Where is Tarolf from?
Norway? I think. Well, his family's in Norway.
But he said did he say he was American? I have no
idea.
idea.
I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to join the American military unless you're American.
I know nothing beyond the fact that his name is Tarolf. That's all I've got.
Oh, we know he has a sister, and that he wouldn't necessarily kill Hitler. That is
excellent things. He was also thinking about wishing that he wasn't with his sister, so he had someone to bang. That was also a shining moment for him.
Charming bit.
Oh, I love this guy. What a great male lead we have already.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going, Max? Really? Norway. I've told you that 12 times. Why? Family honor. All right, Zuko,
My honor!
When will ya come back? Don't know. Will ya come back? Don't know. Any danger? Oh, yeah. The odds against me? I don't know. 100 to 1, maybe? The perps? Oh my god, this is
right?
insanity.
I've lost track of who's talking.
Greedy, vicious invaders. Mon Dieu! Why is he...
Because I think she thinks Cajun is French. I don't know. But yes, he randomly drops... It's Spanish, isn't it?
They have... No, the Cajuns have a little bit of French, don't they?
Alright.
I don't know if anyone Cajun ever watches this, please let me know. And just... Please
if anyone ever watches this, if anyone Cajun ever watches this, we're sorry.
Yeah, we're so sorry for that brief Cajun accent that I did. So sorry.
Was that it? I don't know. I don't want to make questions. I don't think this is not a Cajun character. She's just calls them that. No. Wash his hands of this scene.
That defines any terrorist cell in the third world. Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh yeah, defining vicious terror cells from the third world. They're all vicious invaders.
One in particular who would make Osama and Saddam seem like kindergartners.
Oh
wow, this is going great. Cage frowned. Who the hell would want to invade Norway?
Also, just because I have the PDF open, has she misspelt kindergartners?
Kindergartners.
It's tenners, right? Kindergarten. With an E.
I think she's doing it. I think she's doing it with the accent, but I also don't want to give her that much credit. So we're gonna say that she spelt it wrong. Yes.
Oh my god.
Do we have like a typo counter going or something?
We can now. It may have to be a sticky note, but that's fine.
This works. Whatever. Who would hell did wanta? I love it when that want.
Wanta? It's not like
Oh,
that's
we
the
know it
first
has
thing
an
they
accent.
teach you when you write. Please never, ever, 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 ever write in phonetically an accent.
Yeah, I don't like it anytime. I don't even like it when they did it in like Harry Potter for Hagrid. Like it's so annoying to read. You have to
bad.
like reset your brain to read properly.
They did it for all the French
Um,
people in Harry Potter as well. Like
Did they?
Dumbledore,
I
and
didn't
like
I didn't
lots of
get that
extra
far.
S's and everything.
Dumbledore.
Yep.
Who the hell would want to invade Norway? I've read that line like 3 times now. Torolf refused to answer and continued packing. There was a communal rolling of eyes at his evasiveness. I like to think they all do it in like super creepy unison.
Oh my god, that's...
Well, that settles it. It was Pretty Boy speaking now. We'll all go with you. While he spoke, Pretty Boy flipped through Torolf's little black book, which sat next to his wallet on the bureau. Torolf grabbed it from him with a snort of disgust. Pretty Boy, who was, well, pretty, according to women from 2 hemispheres. Okay.
She knows it's the total number of hemispheres, right?
Specifically 2. Got enough action already. Then Pretty Boy's words sank in. Oh great, that's just what I need. A herd of Navy SEALs riding my back. I don't need 4 oversized babysitters. That's debatable, Jam interjected. Why is his name in capitals? Why can't he just be Jam? I don't know. The Hispanic guy was checking out Torolf's books on a nearby shelf. Torolf read everything from Clive Cussler to his sister Kirsten's romance novels.
Oh no. Does that mean that the sister is a self-insert of the author? If she's the one writing romance novels? Or does she just own them? I'm gonna call it. The sister's gonna be self. What?
Unspecified.
If you were going to write a romance novel and give a self-insert, why would you make yourself the sister of the romantic lead? That just seems like the worst option.
I mean,
but
you know what? Let's not go down that thought.
She was also the one lecturing him about moral choices at the beginning of the book.
Because she can fix him.
Yay!
Anyway. Jam probably had a dozen versions of the Bible. That just seems like too many. How many versions are there?
Wait, was he Mendoza? He's the Hispanic one.
He's Hispanic, yeah.
The
Hispanic guy has like 70 Bibles.
That's where I was going with this. Like, I'm just gonna give that one a yikes. Maybe instead of a typo counter, we just need a yikes counter. Holy fuck!
A yikes counter. I think that will go very, very high. Not babysitters precisely. Cage elaborated. You can't serve the gumbo less error ones at the table. He loved to quote his Cajun grandmother's hokey bayou sayings. What? Oh my god.
That's a yikes from me, dog.
What the hell does that mean? All for one and one for all. Cage grinned. Oh, he's a Cajun and his name is Cage?
Oh.
Is that where that comes from?
Oh, I only just noticed that. Was his surname Cage? But like...
I think his Cage was his nickname, if I remember.
You know what? Even if it is his surname, let's just be honest, she didn't think that hard. She called the Cajun guy Cage, regardless of why she did it.
I mean, she has another book where she has a character called Leroy Brown, and he's literally the baddest man in the whole damn town.
Oh.
So she's not a font of creativity. Alright, where am I up to? All for one and one for all. Hey, you guys were there for me and my mama.
Oh.
During Katrina and Rita. Mama was Cajun for grandmother.
It is not!
In case you weren't aware.
And also, it's Cajun. It's Cajun for. No, it's not even Spanish, or it's not like a southern thing. No, it's Cajun. Fuck you.
Me, how could I do any less? Me, how could I do any less? Even if you've lost your friggin' mind share. God. He sounds like the Firefly from Princess and the Frog, but like the racism dialed up to 60.
Yep.
Norway? Pretty Boy said, frowning. It's cold there, isn't it? Damn cold. Norway is where I come from. For Christ's sake, he's not gonna start the Viking bullshit again. Jam might have trained for the priesthood at one time, but he used the language of a sinner. In fact, after 9/11, he vowed to kill. Oh, there is no capital E at the start of this dialogue.
I don't think it's the start of a sentence. I think it's just the weird formatting of this PDF. I think it's one sentence.
Dialogue, or is it?
I think it's after 9/11. He vowed to kill every motherfucker terrorist in the world. Holy shit!
He vowed to kill every motherfucker terrorist in the world.
Also, wouldn't it be motherfucking? I'm putting that under the typewriter. Like, let's just bad writing count. Oh, no, that would take forever.
A bad writing count would just.
But again, surely it's every motherfucking terrorist in the world. Again, still a yikes for me.
I feel like that's not the problem with the sentence.
There's many problems with every sentence.
His exact words, repeated often. Oh, good. That's like his little bedtime story to himself. I'm gonna kill every motherfucker. You know, I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna move. We're gonna just breeze past all that bullshit. Guess I have to pack my long johns. Why is Johns capitalized?
Because I guess autocorrect fixed it for her and she didn't bother to check.
Okay. Pretty boy said with a loud sigh of resignation. You guys are not coming with me. Not going with me, rather. I read it. I think it's the fan fiction brain coming back. Guys are not coming with me. Torolf insisted. No one listened. Those Scandinavian women are supposed to be hot. This from Pretty Boy, of course. Woo-hoo! What do I see here? He waved a long accordion strip of condoms that he picked out of Torolf's duffel bag. Planning a marathon, are you good, buddy? You planning to keep all those hot Norse mamas to yourself?
Well, at least they're using protection.
This is such natural dialogue between friends.
Yeah.
Like, you can feel the bond here.
Yeah, you can definitely feel that this is, like, meant to be tense and, like, no, we won't let our friend go alone. And, like, no, we're going to talk about the condoms you packed.
Just whipping condoms through the air, like, tee-hee.
Like an accordion. I'm picturing him playing them. Da, 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 da.
Torolf grabbed for the condoms and stuffed them back in his bag. Listen, this is serious business for me. It's something I've got to do by myself. Then why is he bringing so many condoms? Accordion implies like a lot of condoms.
Oh yeah, I'm picturing at least 12.
Yeah.
But to be fair, like,
Dude.
I don't know, if you try real hard, you can get through that in a week.
I mean, yeah. But if he's being serious about going on this mission, why is he fucking his way through Europe? Like,
maybe he just bought a 12-pack and didn't want to take the whole box, as in like the physical box. So he had sex once and had to and all they had was like the jumbo packs left. And he's like, well, damn. Now I gotta buy like 20,000 condoms. Yeah, so he's just being thorough with his packing. He's not taking the whole cardboard box.
I'm not gonna share them with my friends.
Hopefully he recycled it, and he's just like squishing them up for, good storage. I can see that.
Don't recycle condoms.
No, the box that they came in. No, not the condoms themselves.
I'm gonna move on. Do tell.
Wash them and reuse it.
Shut your mouth. There's a lot of reasons that's bad, but you know what? We're not going to get into that. Do tell, Cage said, serious himself now. Torolf inhaled and exhaled, then decided to tell them the truth. So he breathed, is what you're saying, or took a breath. Just beefing up your word count there, Hill. Not that they would believe him. I need to travel back to... Oh, God. Okay. I need to travel back to the 11th century Northlands to put an end to Steinolf, the worst tango in the world. Tango was a seal word for terrorist or bad guy.
Is it?
He stole... Apparently. Confirm, Professor Google?
Do you want me to Google it? All right.
I'll keep reading. You Google.
Yep.
He stole my family lands and tortured my sister, Madrine. Think Hitler on a longship.
You know what? No.
That's a vivid image. I'm just envisioning Hitler sticking his arm out the front of a Viking ship. Good God. This is interesting. His friends couldn't have regarded him more incredulously if he'd grown propellers and called himself a Black Hawk. I'm going to assume that's a helicopter? Yes, no, maybe?
I guess. Sorry, okay, so I have found something. Apparently, Tango is, listed in exactly one place that I can find as nickname for terrorist. That site happens to be David Boreanaz's website, though, or at least a website about David Boreanaz. I can't tell if it's his or not.
Interesting. Alright.
Alright.
Sorry, I just read the next bit of dialogue and it already made me laugh. You're gonna time travel? Cool! No further questions.
What?
No further questions from these guys. Like, yep, that sounds believable. When do we leave? It was Geek speaking for the first time. He'd been sitting at the desk fiddling with Tarolf's laptop, updating some virus software. You know, I just go to my friends' houses and update their virus software. Cool. Does he accept time travel? I must be dreaming. The other seals turn to look. I realize I'm saying it like Doug looking at squirrels. Seals. The other seals turn to look at Geek, shocked. I keep reading it as Greek every single time. I don't know what it is. The message was clear. Geek had an IQ of about a gazillion. Oh, okay. Does he now? Wow, you're making me take this character real seriously.
Again, he's just dropped on these random military men. By the way, I'm going to Norway so that I can time travel. And then just like shrug.
Yep.
Except for the one guy who's like, wow, that sounds amazing.
He has an IQ of gazillion, which means he definitely spends all of his time on Reddit.
His name is Geek. What do you imagine? Because
what else would he do with his time? Fuck, he's on like, why don't women like me? I give them the affection, but they don't return it. Yeah. All right. He had an IQ of about a gazillion, you know, as you do. And if he could accept time travel, well, holy shit, maybe the rest of them could accept it too. Scary thought, that. You believe in time travel? Oh, sorry. You believe in time travel? Cage asked Geek. Tell them no. Please tell them no. Not really. Phew! Well, not today, but I think it might be possible in the future. That is just great. These thoughts are so strange. Why are they worded like this? That is just great. Geek then went on to spout some crap about time wrinkles in the stratosphere and research going on at some half-baked interterrestrial institute in DC. Apparently, time travelers and aliens were put in the same category. Yeah.
I don't even have a comment on that. That's just so stupid. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I have no further questions. I don't know about you. It makes perfect sense to me.
I got nothing.
Have you been to see Dr. Goldstein this rotation? Pretty Boy asked Tarolf. Yes. Dr. Goldstein was the base psychiatrist. All SEALs were required to get psychiatric counseling after every live op in which kills were involved. There was a fear that they would go off the deep end over the taking of a human life, even if it was the vilest of tangos.
Oh, okay. Every single time it's like something really racially iffy comes up, I feel the need to react to it. Just, you know, like,
yeah, be like, by the way, we don't think this is okay.
Yeah, like,
that's a blanket statement.
Let's not get desensitized to that, but like, holy shit, they just blatantly talking about, yeah, I go out to foreign countries and I kill people and I'm fine with this. Jesus, like, she must be, like, if she's not American, she's at least been taken by the military industrial complex. Okay, alright.
You good? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
After this recent stint in Afghanistan, his platoon, a combined effort of SEALs, Rangers, and other Special Forces units, had all gotten in their fair share of killing Al-Qaeda suicide bombers and shit-for-brains extremists. Didn't enjoy saying that.
Oh, no.
Can we get past this chapter already? Can he go back into the Viking era so we can stop talking about this? They would start a new rotation next month, this time in Tikrit, where the goal was to make a surgical strike, taking out some of the remaining hardcore Baathists, remnants of Saddam's old regime. You can tell this book is fucking old. Jesus.
Yep.
So Max, have you time traveled before? Cage was gazing at him with a mixture of pity and concern. I have. Oh, okay.
What?
Rolf has time traveled before. Oh, you said this was like in a series, right? So
yeah, this is number 6.
Yeah, so he's probably been in other ones.
But again, I love how he's just blatantly admitting to these random people. Like, I know that they're his military squad, but like still, they're just blatantly admitting, by the way, I've time traveled before and I plan to do it again. This isn't a big deal to me, but you guys are not reacting for some reason.
That surprised the crap out of all of them, including Geek, who turned to give him his full attention. How? You guys can't repeat any of this, Rolf said. There's no hesitation on his part whatsoever. He's just immediately like, can't tell anyone. There was no like trepidation there. Just
he's just stating it like it's fact.
Like, let me lay down the law, lads. Yeah, they agreed, but he could tell that they all thought he was fast turning into a fruitcake.
What?
That's a sentence.
A fruitcake?
Yes. Fruitcake's a thing. Like, when you call someone a fruitcake, it means they're crazy.
Okay. I think I would just...
I do know that one.
I would just take that as like I would take that as more of a homophobic slur than like a...
Is it?
Mentally...
Okay.
I don't know if it is. I know that fruit is, obviously.
Yeah, no. Fruitcake is crazy. I've heard that before. When I was 16 years old, in the year 1000 AD. Oh, he's from the past. That's interesting. Were you impressed by the amount of enthusiasm I managed to muster there?
Absolutely. He's from the past. Yep.
My father, myself, and 8 of my brothers and sisters boarded a longship. We left behind at Norstead my family's estates, my brother Ragnar and my sister Madrine. Madrine?
Madrine?
I'm gonna go with Madrine. Both of whom you've met. What? While in Iceland or Greenland or wherever the hell we ended up, a strange storm overtook us, and we saw a vision where this elderly woman was praying. When we woke up, we were still in our longship, but we had landed in modern-day California. I like to think they were just in someone's pool.
Also, why would he consider this to be modern day? If time is linear and you can translate that, then there is no modern. That's the whole point. I guess, I'm just critiquing the language. Because to him, this would be the future. He landed in the future in California.
Yeah, well... Who knows?
Let's get back to...
Yeah, because it wouldn't be modern day because it would be their current day, but technically to him, anything further on could be modern day. You are right, yes. Ragnar and Madren came here later at different times. A stunned silence met his words. Well, he might as well finish off this lunatic tale. Why does he call it a lunatic tale if it's his life? Why does he think it's... that, I mean,
I also let's not go past the fact of like he was cursed by a crying woman to travel in time with his whole family minus 2 siblings, and then they just showed up later as well. Were they also cursed to try and travel in a time traveling ship? We don't know.
Maybe
he doesn't specify.
Mustn't be that hard to make one then, because they're just like, hey, yeah. Like
yeah.
an Uber.
Time traveling boat.
Uber. We'll catch the next one.
Time Uber. That's getting written down. I'm going to write a time Uber.
Write a novel about a time Uber. Oh man, my time Uber is running late. But anyway, I feel like they physically can't. Anyway, we're getting off track. Well, yeah, might as well finish the lunatic tale. If it was only that Steinolf stole our property, if it was only that he'd been vicious in the invasion, my family could probably let it go. but that bastard did some things to Madren that can never be forgiven or forgotten. Ooh. Even
Lovely.
today, her body is covered with scars from the bastard's whip. Ooh.
Okay. Yep.
I'm
So,
glad
wait.
this author thinks she's sensitive enough for this. But anyway.
Yeah, she's clearly says, like, okay, I'm not just reading it. That sounds rapey to me, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, that screams rapey, yes.
Yeah, so she's
That is very heavily implied.
definitely tortured, probably rapey. Yeah, I love just dropping that in the first chapter. Everyone loves to read about rape in the first chapter.
Yeah, there's been a lot of it, actually, considering. It was in the prologue and it's in this.
That's true. Love it.
Just gotta throw that mention in every so often, just in case you forgot that rape exists.
Also, don't work up to it or anything. Don't, like, slowly build our expectations of this bad guy. No, just drop in the prologue. By the way, he tortures, rapes, and murders. Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Cool.
Though granted, our protagonist is a murderer, canonically. So, you gotta do something.
The bar isn't high.
You gotta raise it up to do something with the villain.
Yeah. Yeah, but you and your family are safe now, Jam pointed out. Assuming what you say is true, why put yourself in danger just for the sake of revenge? There's more. No. That is a TF2 thing. Anyway. There's more, he said with a long sigh. Oh, that's probably not the inflection. There's more. I found this obscure ancient journal that said Steinolf's reign of terror went on for decades, that he ruled all of Scandinavia at one point. His atrocities were unspeakable. I still don't understand, Cage said. Look, suppose you were able to go back and eliminate Hitler. Okay, we're back to Hitler. There's been a surprising amount of Hitler in this book.
For a romance novel. Lots of Hitler for a romance novel.
Doesn't really get me in the mood when you keep talking about Hitler.
Yep.
Let's suppose you were able to go back and eliminate Hitler before the death camps. Wouldn't you try? Yeah, it's rewriting history, but if there's even a remote chance that I can stop him, is that what he's actually doing? Oh no, sorry, he wants to go back and try it and stop. Right, yes, because he referred to the other guy as like Viking Hitler.
Yes. So he's not killing Hitler, he's just killing Viking Hitler.
Yes, no, the language there got me confused for a moment. I was like, is he making like a pit stop in Nazi Germany to just honk Hitler over the head, or... He paused with a shrug. How can I not try? More silence. Finally, Cage coughed and said, so do you have a time machine or something? He had to laugh at the question and gave Cage who is he? Did Cage laugh and give Cage a noogie?
I think it's Rolf laughs and gives Cage a noogie.
But when you say he directly after someone who's speaking, that means that usually that person is performing an action.
The terrors of having to write a scene with two people of the same gender in it. It's the one big reason to write heterosexual romance. So you can straight up just have he and she.
That's true. Yeah. He had to laugh at the question and gave Cage a noogie on his long-haired fool head. No, you dipwad. That's an excellent insult.
I love dipwad.
You know, that thing that adult males say.
Mm-hmm.
Adult military men often are known to say dipwad. Do you expect to do it on the high seas, in a boat? Geek asked, like before, and reverse the time travel? Logical conclusion, but no, I've tried that. Lots of time in a boat off the California coast. I even tried it in Iceland when we were there last year to train the IDF in Keflavik, but nothing happened. Now I'm going back to Norway. I'll stand on the same spot where Norstead was once located. Hopefully something will happen. That's a big hopefully you got there, mate.
I'm just traveling the world hoping that one day I'm going to time travel.
Yeah, eventually I'll just bonk back into fucking what's-majigger.
Yep.
You know you've gone bonkers, don't you? Cage regarded him with amusement. He probably expected him to say something like, gotcha, and admitted he'd been joking. I wish. I can't help but say things like that when he puts an exclamation point
You
there.
have to. Yeah, I'd be disappointed if you
wish.
didn't. I wish. I have to talk like a 1980s sitcom. Because it
Yeah,
sounds
where's
like
my
it.
laugh track? I need a button with a laugh track behind me.
I'll work on a soundboard.
Maybe, but I've got to try. You honest to God believe in time travel? Pretty boy wanted to know. Well, no, but I do believe in How do you not believe in time travel when you literally already time traveled? What do you mean you don't believe in it?
What?
Tarolf!
Which was seriously his name.
Tarolf, I need you. Sorry.
Sexually.
Sexually.
Okay, just in case anyone ever does read this, if you haven't seen the Rough and Ready dramatic reading, even if it's fake, it's still a good time. Go watch it.
Good. Go watch it.
Okay.
Well, no, but I do believe in miracles. I figure God, or one of the gods, probably Loki, the jester. In case you didn't know who Loki is. He's just mansplaining.
This is written pre-Marvel.
I mean, even then, it's one of the gods that surely people know.
People are stupid.
Whatever.
Look,
I'm not questioning.
Sandra Hill probably didn't know what Loki was. She probably had to Google it.
The jester, destined this for my family. Miracles. Just broke my microphone. That I can understand. Jam was nodding his head in acceptance, which was remarkable to Tarolf. He didn't think anyone would believe him. This sounds really interesting. I'm in, Geek said. When do we leave for Norway? Me too, each of the others said. No, Tarolf said as emphatically as he could. All for one and one for all. H reminded him, and he wasn't teasing either. There's not even fucking 4 of them. You don't get to do that. Is there 4 of them? No, there is 4 of them. I take it back. Never mind.
It's Tarolf, Cage, Pretty Boy, and Geek, isn't it? And Jam. Yeah. It's 5.
Jam is 5. Okay, you don't get to do that. And he wasn't teasing either. You can't do this, he tried one last time. I know you have liberty for a couple of weeks. We all do before we go on out Conus. I'm sorry, what's that?
She explained who Loki was, but doesn't explain out Conus.
Doesn't explain what out Conus is. It sounds like... I don't even know what that sounds like.
Under the... I got nothing.
Under the constant...
the constant overwhelming nebula under stars.
Sandra. But man, what if we can't come back? What if we get stuck in the past? Do you want to have a UA on your record? Shit! If we're lost in the 11th century, I don't think an unauthorized absence is gonna matter all that much, Pretty Boy pointed out. Tarolf decided to try a different argument. Do you have any idea how primitive it was then? No electricity, no running water or flush toilets, no cars or planes, no computers, no condoms. His 4 teammates looked at each other and then at him. They didn't believe him. What? They didn't believe that they don't have those things? Okay.
I'm fairly sure they had versions of a lot of those things. Like, they've had versions of condoms for a long time.
Oh, yeah. They used to use sheep intestines and stuff like that. Yeah.
Especially
disgusting. But it works. Yeah. Honestly, though, he makes a point. I would not want to go back into that era of time. It's like, you will probably contract a terrible disease that you have no cure for. So,
yep. They don't have modern day antibiotics.
There's no antibiotics. You get TB, you're dead.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I would never. These, like, historical fantasies are all great in theory, but you would never actually want to go into the past. It's terrible. His 4 teammates looked at each other and then, they didn't believe him. Still, Cage spoke for them all when he said, "We're willing to risk that for you. Don't y'all agree?" The response was resounding, "Hoo-yah!" And Pretty Boy added, "Hoo-yah!" You know, as you do. Pretty Boy added, "Make sure we buy a shitload of rubbers to take with us. Make mine supersize." Who are you kidding, Pretty Boy? We all know you have a pin dick. Get out of here.
If you have to say it, you don't have it.
Exactly. If you have to say it, it ain't that big. The only supersize on you is your big head.
I like how the accent always comes in halfway through the sentence when you realize who's talking.
It's impossible to tell, honestly. Because the first half of the sentence, if you look at that sentence, the first half is normal, and then the accent doesn't come in till later. So literally, as I see the accent, I change into it.
Yep.
The only super size on you is your big head, Cage told Pretty Boy. So it was that a team of 5 Navy SEALs decided to go back in time to the 11th century Northlands. They would never be the same.
Yay! That's our.
Is that
I guess
is that the first chapter? There's another like black text, but it doesn't say chapter 2.
I don't know.
No, it's not chapter 2 yet. It's chapter 2's further down.
Lovely.
So this is just like, this is swapping to Hilda. We're in Hilda land. You could say she was a Dark Ages feminist.
Or you could not say that.
Oh, we could not say that.
We could say literally anything else.
That would be the optimal
scenario. I gotta be honest, I was really hoping the soldiers were not gonna come back in time travel because I do not want to have to keep dealing with the...
But you don't love them. They're so fun.
Yeah, they're so much fun. With their stupid racial accents.
Racist. Racisms ago.
And their stupid nicknames. Like, I'm called Geek. I'm called Jam.
I'm Amber. Chaz. Luann. Joey. Anyway.
I was going to say, I don't know how far you're going to go, but I don't know any of these.
I don't know the rest of the names.
I know the last one. The last one's the only important one. Link.
Anyway.
That will get us copyrighted.
A tiny bit. Anyway. We're on to Hilda. Are you ready for Hilda? Hilda time.
I think I prefer Hilda to Terolf.
I mean, odds are there's going to be significantly less racism, she says tentatively.
Hopefully.
So, we shall see. Brunhilda Berdottir was the last living child of Styr Hardhead and Bera the Weeper. Wow. Cool parents. And a deceased High Jarl of Hordaland and his lady wife, though she would never be recognized as such in her present condition. She had a broken arm, a blackened eye, and bruises from head to toe. That's a lot of bruises. Still, she trudged on, wearing only a rough gown under an overtunic and thin deerskin ankle boots, fur side inward. Good to know.
Cool.
These 2 days and more along is this just one really long sentence? Just realized we haven't had a full stop yet. No. Still she trudged on, wearing only a rough gown under an over tunic and thin deerskin ankle boots, fur side inward, these 2 days and more along a remote, snow-covered mountain trail, hoping to find her great-grandsire hunting lodge. That's all one sentence.
Wow, that's a lot. Also, I love it when they always start with a detailed description of what the women are wearing, because it just makes me think of my model every time.
I'm disappointed that she's not wearing something gothic.
Lacy and corset, and I stick my finger up at them.
The poses. Whatever the fuck they're called. Preps.
Preppies.
But then she slipped. Her feet went out from under her, and her rump hit the ground with a resounding thump. That meant to rhyme? Her stop caused those following behind her to fall as well in a rippling effect. Okay,
what?
We've entered Looney Tunes land. I forgot the name for it, where one person stops and everyone goes doof 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 doof. But there's actually it's got a particular name. I can't remember what.
But it says that she fell. I'm just picturing everyone else being like, follow the leader, just sitting down really hard.
Quick, so she doesn't feel bad. It's like that scene from The Princess Diaries where she eats the cold dessert too quickly, and they're like, we must do it too. We must eat more. And they're like, and they're all doing that together. Yep. That's what it makes me think of.
Yeah, because she doesn't slip forwards, she's not pulling anyone down in icy. She just falls down. And then everyone else falls. They don't even hit her. They just sit really hard on the ice. I'm assuming it's ice.
Well, they were on a snowy mountain, so that's a pretty good bet, yes.
Yeah.
At first, they all stared at each other. Then one of them giggled. Soon they were all laughing. Not that there was any humor to their predicament. But the old sages were right when they said that betimes 'twas better to laugh than cry. Yes.
Sure.
With her... Yeah, I tend to laugh when I break my fucking arm and am bruised from head to toe. I might be like, shut up, Janet! Stop laughing! With her were 5 other females. Females, not women, females.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, God, Sarah J. Maas book. Uh,
Conspiracy theory. What if Sandra Hill is the writing name of a man? Because so far we've had a lot of, like, military-focused bullshit.
Could be. We'll know when we get to the sex scenes.
Yep.
Because of how much foreplay there is. Oh, goodness.
Oh, no.
Ranging from age 12 to 30, all of them equally battered, some having been raped as well repeatedly. Oh, good. We probably put like a trigger warning on this video, maybe?
Yeah.
Because there is a lot more rape than I thought there was going to be.
Yep.
The one thing they all had in common was the brutal, maggot-hearted Steinolf, who had invaded farmsteads and estates across the northwestern Northlands in a wave of bloody attacks in these past 3 years. Her family's own Amberstead, named for her father's trading in the prized stones from the Baltic, had suffered the latest of the raids. Hilda could not bear to think of her last image of her father lying in a pool of blood outside the bailey, his body having been dealt the horrible blood eagle, a Viking, this is all one sentence again, a Viking punishment that involved hacking all the ribs away from the backbone down to the loins and then pulling out the lungs as an offering to Odin.
Oh, that's so specific.
It's such a long sentence too.
Wow.
It goes from Hilda to Odin is one sentence.
Yikes.
In truth, there had been so much sword due from him and his loyal retainers that it ran like a stream down to the is it ford or fjord?
Let's just say forward.
Ford? I'm pretty sure it's
but
Ford.
Also, sword due.
That's how it is in Critical Role, so I'm going to assume they're right.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, sword
due
is blood. It is blood. They were in fact drinking blood.
That's a very weird way to say blood, but it's blood. Thank the gods, her mother and older brothers, Arnsten and Kettle, had passed to the other world many years ago. Actually, there were more than 5 of them traveling this remote trail. Okay, so she said there's 5 of them, and now she's like, actually, there were. It's like a narrator telling a story and then remembering new details later.
I think that's what she writes. Because that's what she was doing before with the dialogue. She's like, I'm talking. By the way, it was this person talking. It doesn't precursor it at all. It's like, oh, this is what they were doing, by the way, the whole time. Jesus Christ.
There was also Bjorn, Dota, Edla, and Stigandir. Bjorn was a huge ram. Dota and Edla, they're animals. Okay. Dota and Edla, his favorite ewes. All 3 brought along for the journey at the insistence of her maid, Inga. Hilda and the women had all cuddled up. Oh, now they're women instead of females. Hilda and the women had all cuddled up against the animals for warmth as they slept yestereve.
That's not a thing.
Stieg was, of course, her
Stieg!
hunting.
Oh my god, we got a Stieg!
Stieg.
That's the name of the person from Tall Girl, right?
It
Stieg?
is, yes. Stieg.
That's what I will be picturing. Just that snot-nosed little fuck.
Stieg was, of course, her father's hunting dog.
Okay, never mind, it's a dog. Stieg.
A more contrary, lustsome beast there never was.
What?
I'm sorry.
Hi, I have a horny antagonistic dog.
Horny fucking dog. Hello. This is my dog Stieg. He is extremely horny at all times. That's just how I introduce my pets. Oh, lustsome. That is not a word that should ever be used in general, but especially not on an animal.
I'm writing it down next to time Uber. I'm writing lustsome. Just to make sure I use it again.
He would obey no one, not even Hilda, now that her father was gone. Fortunately, once Stieg understood that sheep would not stand still for his carnal efforts. Oh my god!
He's banging the sheep!
Shagging the sheep! He must be from New Zealand. One obligatory New Zealand joke. Yeah, she would not stand for his carnal efforts. All 4 animals had behaved well. And Inga, bless her soul, had trailed behind with the animals, picking up their droppings with a wood paddle and sack so the enemy would not be able to trace their path. You know, except for all of the fucking... Why would they follow the shit? There'd be heaps of animals out there. Why?
It's not like the footpaths would be better. Yeah.
Yeah, like surely there's other things. If they were that good at tracking that they could tell it was specifically sheep shit, they can probably tell where you've gone anyway. Anyway. Hilda had drawn the line when Frida, her cook, wanted to bring squawky chickens, but Hilda suspected the stubborn woman had breeding eggs nestled in the swath of wool wrapped around her waist.
Isn't that a good idea?
Probably.
Why is that so negative and judgy?
Because Hilda is Isabella, I guess. Everyone else is so inconvenient.
You said Isabella. It's
Isabella. Over the years, her father had travelled to the far-flung trading towns of Burka, Hedeby, and Novgorod, bringing her finger and arm rings, gold and silver-linked belts, silk samite fabrics from Byzantium, a polished brass-looking mirror, and a red cloak lined with grey fox fur, all left behind. Rip.
Cool.
Are we almost there, m'lady? Inga asked as Hilda stood and dusted snowflakes off her gunner and wool mantle. They were near a bend in Freyaford. They had been following since midday. The others began to rise as well. Meanwhile, the sheep foraged in the snow to nibble at the undergrowth, and Stieg licked her hands, seeking some morsel of food or bone. I bet he's looking for bone.
I was about to say, if he's hungry, don't offer your hands.
She ignored Stieg, having nothing to offer, and pressed her lips together to stop their shivering. I've not been there for a dozen years, since my 11th winter, but my grandsire always said Deerhaven was only a half-day's journey from Freya's elbow, a bend in the ford near the ancient lintel tree. Inga's weary eyes followed Hilda's gaze to the gnarled tree as wide as 3 mead barrels with bare branches resembling beastly arms. That was the long sentence. Let us rest here a moment, Hilda suggested. A fire? Inga inquired hopefully. Hilda shook her head. Steinolf's men may follow us, if not now, eventually. I doubt me there is any... oh my god, what? I doubt me there is any imminent danger, but we must be within the safety of Deerhaven's walls, drawbridge up if they discover our whereabouts. What could they do to us that they have not already done? Inga remarked with a shudder. Skin us alive? Well, okay, thank you, Debbie Downer.
She's Isabella.
It was something Steinolf was rumoured to practice on his captured enemies when they did not cooperate. For the love of Thor, we can ill afford to linger then, Inga said, and the others nodded in agreement. Even 12-year-old Dagna, whose bloody thighs... Oh, God.
Oh, no. Okay.
Bloody...
I'm just reading out of the sentence. Before we say this, let's just assume a massive trigger warning for both rape and violence until the book ends. Let's just go that far.
Basically, just cover all.
I'll try not to read ahead, but that one, I'm actually happy I saw that one.
No, I saw that one and I was like, oh, I'm gonna stop here.
Alright, let's do it. Great teeth.
A 12-year-old whose bloody thighs had borne the seed of a dozen or more men afore they had rescued her that first night.
She's 12. Why are you writing this, honey. Sandra?
Oh. She had not spoken since. Fair enough, honestly.
Yep.
Dagna carried a favourite lute clutched to her chest. Hilda wondered if she would ever sing again. Oh. But they had all suffered. Oh my god, Hilda!
Oh my
She's 12!
It's not the same!
Not everything is about you, Hilda.
I just want to take a note to notice, like, it happened before. Like, we were getting all these really, like, tiny details about these characters, and we've said here, like, we know the reason that the farm is named after Amber. We don't know where they are. Like, we know that they're just in the wilderness, but we don't have any broad strokes. We don't have any scene setting. I have no idea what's actually happening. Are they still... they're resting under the tree, right?
they're going through the mountains. I'm pretty sure, like snowy
Okay.
mountains. That's all I've got so far. To
Yeah.
get away from wherever they were.
But I hate before that the entire scene just took place in his bedroom. I have no idea what that is. I can just assume it's a military bunker bedroom, but that's still just a guess.
Is it on it? Because they're in the Navy, right? Like, is it on a ship? Were they like in a house? Were they in a hotel? Like, we got none of that.
I don't know.
As far as I knew.
You have to go back and like trace the clues together, but you shouldn't be doing that.
No.
She's not a good writer.
Paint the scene for us, Sandra. Paint the scene.
It's like painting. You start big and you work to small details. You don't just come in being like she wore her shoes with the fur on the inside.
Instead of the fur on the outside to not keep herself warm like a fucking dumbass.
Yes.
Anyway, Steinoff ordered... Oh, I hate this! Steinoff ordered the tip of Astrid's tongue to be sliced off for refusing to take one warrior's man part into her mouth.
What?
Oh, good! From the look of this, we're going to get a rundown of everyone's fucking trauma. So
Lovely.
Here we go. Again, trigger warning. Elise, only 17 and a thrall, had watched helplessly as her young mother had been dragged to one of 3 longboats headed for the market stalls at Hedeby, where she and 20 others would be sold as slaves.
Wow.
Their fate could be no worse than those left behind. Of course, Hilda would now release Elise from her thraldom, and she would no longer have to keep her hair close cropped as a sign of servitude. And now we're into slavery.
I love that they have to say that. Just like that. Of course she would do it. Like, that should actually go without saying. It really should. That we're not going to keep the young girl as a slave. Anyway.
Frida, the oldest of them at 30, had lain nude and spread-legged on the high table of Amisted's great hall for a day and a half. Cool. Did she just shit everywhere? Is that what we're saying here? Is that not what I should be focusing on? Whenever they say this kind of thing, I'm like, okay, but where did they poop? Because I'm a child and I like to keep my brain in a nice area.
Not even, you can go a day and a half without pooping if you have to, but like, I'm still thinking, where do they piss? That's gotta happen. I guess it's just on the table.
You kind of stink up the room a little bit.
Yeah, it's not exactly sexy to be lying in a puddle of your own waste. At least you'd hope not. No shame if you're into that, but like...
Yeah. They were a perverted, cruel bunch, Steinoff's men were. Yeah, I'm getting that. Slaking their lust like savage animals. Although Hilda had been beaten, she had not been raped or mutilated. Yet. Jesus Christ. Steinoff had been saving her, as the high-born daughter of the estate, for last in hopes of drawing fleeing troops and cotters back to the homestead. She could not imagine what atrocity he had planned for her, in light of what he'd done to the lesser females in the household. There had been mention of a randy stallion out in the stable. That had been when she'd planned for her escape. Oh, are they going to get the horse to... Oh.
Yes, they're talking about horse rape.
Okay.
Oh my god, This is the first chapter!
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This is a lot.
I knew it was bad, but like, this isn't funny, this is just bad. Like, please stop. Please, someone...
The first chapter was full of racism, but at least it was like spotted with bits that we could laugh at, but this is just fucking horrible.
Yeah, and again, just the first, there's no like leading up to it. There's no like slow hinting. Not that I think you should ever subtly hint at horse rape, but still, just
yeah, probably just leave it out altogether. Just leave the horse rape aside.
Really gives us like an insight into what Sandra Hill's mind is like, because I don't think I could have come up with that if I was trying to write the worst thing ever.
It's not where my mind would have gone. No. But I'm also not a crazy person, as far as I know. So,
yeah, I genuinely think she's
Sandra.
Unhinged.
Hilda looked at each of them in turn. Heed me well. Keep heart a short while longer. This I vow. Steinoff will pay for his sins someday. But for now, we must find safe harbor, restore our bodies and spirits, and grow strong. The next morning they arrived at Deer Haven. Hilda surveyed it with an eye towards their defense against invading invaders. Why am I keep saying intruders? It was a Mott and Bailey style structure built in the longhouse style of the Vikings. It sat on an immense raised flat that was a lot of descriptors. Two descriptors, Sandra. Two.
Yep.
Immense raised and flat hilltop. Steep sloped on three sides and set against an almost vertical mountain background. The rustic castle, and it was a castle to the Norsemen, was surrounded by a wide moat. The palisade of strong hewn logs was half rotted away. Many hides of land went with this estate, but most of it was untillable. That's why her great-grandsire had abandoned it decades ago. What? Where are we now? I'm confused. She's describing something, but did they just like come up to it? What?
Well, the next morning they arrived at Deerhaven, so they're at the place they're heading.
Gotcha. Missed that. Much work would be required to restore it to its former impregnable state. The only entrance was through the ford, which could be made impassable by damming the stream a short distance back. Something her great-grandsire had once done in the old days when this had been the first home, long before the establishment of Amberstead and the use of Deerhaven as a hunting lodge. The drawbridge was rusted into a permanent open position. The moat was filled with mud and fallen trees. The massive timber and earthworks main longhouse with its wood-shake roof was in disrepair but still intact, though the wattle and daub huts of outbuildings that surrounded it had long ago lost their thatched roofs. Despite the condition, Deerhaven was a welcome sight. "This will do as our new home," Hilda pronounced. Astrid, Elise, and Frida dropped to their knees and said prayers of thanks. Dagna wept with relief, but Inga, ever the one to have a sense of humor, chuckled. "By your leave, milady," she said, but without waiting for a response, picked up a sharp rock which she used to carve runic symbols onto a short plank which she propped against the edge of the drawbridge.
Oh,
these sentences are so long. Oh my goodness. It read, "Any man who dares enter here uninvited will leave with a shriveled man part." Okay. Well said! Hilda clapped her hands in appreciation. They all laughed then, even Dagna.
What is this tonal whiplash?
I have no idea.
We're sad we're being tortured. We're relieved we found our home. I'm gonna write a dick joke on the thing.
We all fell over. It's so funny. We were all raped. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Jesus. We will be all right now, Hilda decided. If we can see mirth in the midst of our tragedy, we have the metal to survive. This will be our sanctuary. In fact, she stepped forth and took the stone from Inga, adding 2 words. Later, the same plaque would be nailed to the restored fortress, and it would read, "The Sanctuary. Any man who dares to enter here uninvited will leave with a shriveled man part." I'm so glad that shriveled man part is the last fucking thing in chapter 1.
All right, you good? You coping?
Oh, I need a drink. Fuck. Give me 2 seconds. I will just fill up my cup from the tap.
Not a problem. I will stay here and keep the stream doing something.
I'm good to go.
Alrighty.
I have a tap like a meter from me.
Yeah, alrighty.
Alright, you ready for this?
Alright.
Prepared?
I'm prepared. Look, I'm hoping we can't get worse than the last chapter, which is the only chapter.
But
yes, I'm still waiting to see.
We're back to the racists, so you
know, no.
I think it is. I think we're back to the racists.
Yes, Troll. Yes, it looks like.
Yes.
All right.
We're back to the racists. The racists and the rape victims. Those are the 2 point of views we have right now.
Lovely.
Having a great time.
Yep. There's rocking a hard place. Tisk, you couldn't take them anywhere is the title of chapter 2, or at least chapter 2 part A.
Or it's no, because they had that at the start of like the second scene, so they're like scene headings almost.
Scene headings.
Yeah, it's very weird. Interesting choice, but whatever. Not the worst thing in this book.
I want to say that the first chunk of this page is just a bunch of dialogue, and I have no idea who's talking. So I'm gonna just give it a shot.
Alternate?
I'll give it a try.
Okay.
But I don't remember the characters enough. I'm just going to give them slightly different voices and then just commit to it. Alright. A Viking we will go, a Viking we will go. Hi-ho the dairy-o, a Viking we will go. I, for one, am in the mood for a little pillaging. Where ate all those buxom, blonde-haired Scandinavian women we were promised with names like Ingrid or Ursula?
Why are these like the horny 7 dwarves?
They are the horny 7 dwarves.
7 dwarnies. No. Carry on.
I want a battle axe. Forget an AK-47. I want a big-ass friggin' battle axe. I think that's meant to be the Cajun one because he has an apostrophe in his his dialogue. Hot damn, it's cold. Pass my fur mantle. Ha ha ha! I refuse to read this
Such
properly.
natural dialogue. She's a fucking wizard.
Yep.
Sandra Hill.
Oh, modern Andy Serkin. Where the hell's my plunder? Did you take my plunder? I think I'll do my hair in war braids today. Who says Vikings don't wear horned helmets? I really, really want a horned helmet. What's the name of your sword? Johnson. What's yours? Mr. Big.
Oh my god. Meet my dick, Mr. Big.
All this ribbing was being delivered to Torolf by his 4 teammates as they stood on a reproduction of that Viking dragon ship on a godforsaken ford in Norway. A tourist trap, to be sure. No kidding, Max. Let's go get a mug of beer, mead, and forget this time travel crap. I wish I could. Yeah, you need to get your ashes hauled if you ask me. Nobody asked you. Getting laid isn't the answer to everything. 4 sets of eyes turned to look at him. I think that we'd show him
meant to be Rolf. He wasn't meant to know. Getting laid isn't the answer to everything, guys. Stop making fun of me.
I would like to read him that way from now on.
Guys. That's what you want your sexy lead to sound like.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are being mean to me. I'm a Viking.
He grinned and shook his head at the hopelessness of arguing with the blockheads. They were close to 200 members of SEAL Team 13, but these guys had gone through buds training with him. When downrange, these were the guys he wanted watching his 6, but when they were inactive, when they were inactive, as they are now after 5 days in Western Norway, all that energy had to be directed somewhere. Unfortunately, he was the chosen target. They were pissing him off big time and they knew it. So he saluted them with his middle finger. They just laughed. No surprise there.
Oh, Torolf, you joker.
The wind had died down about half an hour ago, and the longboat had pretty much stopped moving. So the red and white striped sails had been lowered. Out oars! Sven Olafsson, the pretend captain of this tourist longship, yelled out. Picking up their oars, 12 sets of pretend Viking sailors came into attention. It's just really tight, really small. There we go. They looked like idiots, probably college students, in their pseudo-Viking duds, designed by some dingbat Calvin Kleinerson, no doubt. Why is he such a bitch? Just let the college kids play pretend. They're not hurting anyone.
Man, I hate cosplayers. Don't let Torolf near Comic-Con. He's gonna fucking have a meltdown.
Sitting on sea chests, they began to row in unison. They may have been dressed like no Vikings he'd ever known, with belt buckles that would rival a rodeo rider's and tunics and brays made of ultra suede, but the rhythmic sound of oars creaking in oarlocks was not unfamiliar to Torolf. Can
I just ask, what do you mean by belt buckle that would rival a rodeo rider? Is that in size?
I guess it's just meant to be like, what, gaudy and inaccurate?
I guess.
I
just don't know what that's meant to mean.
This is what historical fashion YouTubers mean when they're like, that's not the cut from this century. But again, they're generally like going after things that are professional. This is just people cosplaying at a tourist trap. Why are you getting mad?
I don't like it when people have fun.
As the
Time to
longship plied easily through Freya Ford, Gerolf looked for familiar landmarks to no avail, even though he travelled here with his father and brother Ragnar when they were youthlings. That's a word. Youthlings. Everything looked different now. Even worse, 2 days past, Gerolf had stood on the very spot where Norstead, his family estates, had once been located. We know that! You don't need to reiterate. We get that one already. There was a shopping mall there
Instead
now.
of giving us, like, important information, she's just repeating the same useless shit over and over again.
Yeah. There was a shopping mall there now. Even so, Gerolf had dropped to his knees in the parking lot, praying for deliverance back to the past, much to the amusement of passers-by. Alright. Jam had helped by sprinkling some holy water on the concrete. Who knew that Jam carried holy water around, just in case there was an emergency?
Isn't Jam the Hispanic guy as well? The guy who has like 70 Bibles? Also happens to have holy water on him at all times.
Yes, Jam. But wait, was Jam also the priest? Jam the Jesuit... Who was the Jesuit priest? Oh, I don't know. I don't care.
That was the Hispanic guy, I'm pretty sure.
It would make sense. Oh,
yeah.
They're all the same. I can't keep them straight.
Who fucking knows?
Psst, Cage whispered, elbowing him to draw his attention back to the present. The good captain, he's throwing that eye daggers our way. I'm not doing this fucking accent. It's like,
aw, but it's fun.
Alright, I'll give it a try. Next time he speaks. Ha! Everyone was looking at them funny. Cage most of all, with his shoulder-length hair, little gold loop earring, and stupid cowboy hat and cowboy boots. You'd think he was from Texas or 42nd Street, not Louisiana. What's 42nd Street? I don't know.
No idea, but I love the image that he's that like typical American tourist what everyone thinks American tourists look like, with like big cowboy hats and fucking cowboy boots and everything.
And again, why are you being such a bitch? He's just wearing a hat!
How dare he? How dare he wear a big hat in my presence? Fuck this guy.
On the other hand, maybe it was Jam in camis and an olive drab t-shirt with the logo Navy SEAL on it, who was drawing all the looks. That logo was always a chick magnet. Not that the good captain would care about that. Pretty Boy wore his NASCAR jacket, also a chick magnet. He and Geek were dressed normally in jeans.
Sorry.
And what? Just jeans. It's just like, he's wearing a jacket. That's the gripe. He's wearing a jacket.
But also, who the fuck? I mean, I suppose in America it's a thing, but like, if I saw someone with NASCAR written on, even if I was American, I'd be like, yeah, you're probably not for me. No thanks.
No.
Like, I don't know. This really feels like it was written by a man. Like,
it
they're
does.
like, yeah, this is what the chicks are into. If I write Navy SEAL on my chest, the chicks will be all over me. Like,
chicks love NASCAR. Get a bitch in NASCAR.
They love them left turns. They're making a left turn. They're making another left turn.
Alrighty.
But they were dressed normally. I love it. Just says they were dressed normally, as implying that the
wearing
t-shirt and jacket that his friends are wearing are not normal. I mean, I get like the cowboy hat and everything and gold earring and all that. I get that he thinks that that's not normal, but
what would have been better if the other guys joined in on the Viking cosplay, and he'd just be like, "Guys, stop." Like, no, we're Vikings.
And all I got was
we're
a lousy t-shirt.
They're like, we're gonna time travel back to Vikings, so we're dressing the part. We're gonna dress like Vikings. He's like, no.
Yeah.
Now that's cultural appropriation.
Like, they've got like those sippy like big cups that just like looks like a Viking helmet, and there's got a little straw sticking out of it, and it's.
Oh god.
That's what I'm envisioning in my
head.
Oh
god.
I prefer that. Anyway, carry on.
Captain Svein, as he told them to call him, even though his real job was a professor at an Oslo university, frowned up at him and his seal buddies for standing apart from the rest of the tourist group. The Norsemen were masters of the seas. Well, during the Viking Age, with good cause, they were called sea wolves.
Sea wolves.
I'm not Googling that one.
Nope, I don't believe it, even if it's on Google.
Alright, this sound effect is on you, though. Pretty Boy made a wolf howling noise.
Oh!
A mug of mead was beginning to sound good to Terolf, too.
What?
I don't know.
Where did the mead come from?
I got nothing.
What?
I got nothing.
Is it just because, like, his friends are getting into it? He's like, ugh, I could go for a mead.
I guess.
I just don't get.
It's just Terolf being a little bitch.
Terolf, goddamn.
Terolf, little bitch, Max Magnuson. With air quotes. Air quotes.
Why is his name Max? Anyway, carry on.
I have no idea who's speaking. Oh, whatever.
I believe that's the guy.
I think it's the professor. Yeah, the professor, which is why he has the professor voice. With fair winds on the open seas, the high-riding longships could travel at incredible speeds with sails called cloaks of wind unfurled. But when the wind went down, as it has now, the Viking sailors needed to start rowing the vessels, which were so light they were able to travel easily on shallow fords. On and on Olafsson droned, and Terolf scanned the passing forward shoreline, searching for clues. You know, it'd be funny if all these random tourists and this professor dude also travelled in time.
He's stuck babysitting a bunch of, annoying tourists.
Annoying college kids in cosplay.
We're hungry. We want food. Terolf!
Fetch us a deer steak, please.
Terolf, we're hungry. Terolf!
The landscape and geographical boundaries as had been different long ago. In fact, ancient Norway has been I can't read this writing. What is it about this writing? It just makes you stumble on every fucking word. In fact, ancient Norway had been twice as large as it was today, and yet they were the same. His heart and his memory told him so. Norway is a land of snow-capped mountains and great barren plateaus, the tour guide pointed out. Its coastline is broken by hundreds of fords, each with its own personality. They were carved out by glaciers in prehistoric times. Despite its bleakness, there are picturesque bays and moorlands. Some contend the most beauty is in the forbidding terrain. Terolf nodded in agreement.
Every time they talk about hundreds of forwards, I just envision the character from Critical Role just copy-pasted over and over and over again.
Although the Scandinavians all spoke their...
You sound like last year, the YouTubers that I like were doing a stream of Animal Crossing, and he had a really pompous voice that he put on for the owl Blathers, and that's what you sound like.
Alright. Although the Scandinavians all spoke...
I didn't say anything. Carry on.
They could apparently understand each other, Olafsson explained after a question from one of the visitors. And, actually, Old Norse, which in no way resembles modern Norwegian, was very similar to the English of that time. I have a feeling someone from that era might disagree. But anyway.
My headcanon is that, because it says after a question from one of the visitors, I like to think that the question he asked had absolutely nothing to do with that answer. He just started rambling off something and he's like, oh, okay. This is the bathroom. Well, you see.
Blah, blah, blah. Let's go back to port. I might as well accept that reverse time travel just isn't going to happen. Okay,
why time travel?
She just keeps pointing out that this guy is being really long and boring, but yet she still insists on reading it out, and we're actually, it's completely pointless. Were they really...
Also, just going back to reverse time travel is still just time travel.
Yes, it
going
is.
Backwards is still just time travel.
It's just time travel!
There's no reverse time travel. Technically, reverse time travel would be being in the present, I think, by definition.
I don't think there is such a thing as reversed. If anything, reverse time travel
it's
just stopping time.
Yes. Stopping time. I mean, time is not traveling. Anyway. Oh, goodness. We're back to... Okay, carry on.
Were they really vicious rapers and pillagers? One elderly gentleman asked. The early history. Sorry, I keep trying. It's nothing about launching into that voice is what triggers it. The early histories were written by clerics who had a prejudiced view of the non-Christian invaders. In fact, Vikings were adventurous settlers, artisans, and traders. Their law codes were the basis of our modern judicial system. Their sagas bespoke a great love of storytelling and humor. I heard they were hunks, one young woman commented. Probably a girlfriend of one of the college boy rowers. She wasn't blonde or buxom, but she wasn't unattractive, despite the tongue piercing. Rude.
Okay, Tyrol. Whatever.
He noticed Pretty Boy watching her, too. He would probably be hitting on her before they were back on land.
I love that I love that the only woman that has spoken up is like, tee-hee, I heard they were sexy. Ah-ha-ha-ha, 12's hair. I came here for the hunks. Okay. Yeah. Again, really feels like a book that was written by a man.
Yeah, I am increasingly thinking that Sandra Hill is actually a guy.
We shall see.
We will see. The professor/captain smiled at her question. Actually, the Viking men were taller and better looking than average men of that time. Tyrell smirked at his friends. Plus, they bathed more often than other folks. No wonder so many women of so many different lands welcomed them into their beds. There is no doubt that they enriched the races of the countries where they settled. Okay, something about this feels wrong, right? Like, historically speaking, something about this feels wrong. Anyway.
Yeah. Also, I have two little tidbits just to interrupt with. One, Sandra Hill is a woman. There's a picture of her online. Okay. Two, her personal website has the catchphrase, laugh, love, live.
What?
So, yeah.
It's like, how do we do that?
You know she's cool.
Copy my homework, but make it look like you didn't.
Yeah, basically. New York Times best-selling author.
Remember, this is the bar to become a New York Times best-selling author. Get writing.
Yeah. All you writers out there, this is it. This is all you have to be. Be better than this, and you're good. Anyway, carry on.
Did you bathe a lot? Cage asked. How many races did you enrich? Pretty Boy wanted to know. This is really interesting, Geek said. He was soaking up the touristy lecture like a sailor at his first strip show. What? A geek. That is written in the text. FYI. That was not me. What a geek is written on this page. You know, we Cajuns are a lot like Vikings, Cage said. I'll bite, Tyrell said. How are Cajuns like Vikings?
Sounds like the start to a joke.
They're both drop-dead gorgeous, sexy as sin, and have a great sense of humor, and women love them. His remark was met with snickers. Besides, like my mama always says, the truth is in the roux. Is that the roux?
Yeah,
all right.
Roux. Yeah.
Okay.
It's food. I'm pretty sure it's like a soup or something.
Fair enough.
Or a sauce.
Is it like the proof is in the pudding?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not complete nonsense. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit nonsense. It just. How much of this has she gotten off Google, and how much of this she's like, it sounds right?
Both in equal measure, I imagine.
What in the hell does roux have to do with Vikings and Cajuns? Tyrolf would undoubtedly regret asking this question. Roux is the heart of most Cajun dishes. At heart, Vikings and Cajuns are good lovers, husbands, fathers, sons.
You keep saying that, but like, with what evidence do you have of this? I don't know. He's just saying things.
He is just saying things, and I'm not a fan. That is the most half-assed logic I have ever heard. Jam liked there to be an explanation for everything. It's probably why he was no longer a Jesuit wannabe. Ooh, that's rough. Just then, Tyrolf noticed something. Oh my god. He shoved his friends aside so he could better see over the side of the longboat. Like a well-oiled machine, his teammates went on immediate alert, joining him in a search for danger, scanning the ship and quickly passing the landscape.
Sorry, I just had the mental image of all of them running to the edge of this longboat and just
Splash.
I don't know if they know what happens when you all run to one side of a boat, but ends with everyone getting wet.
I like the start of the next sentence then. They knew what to do in a crisis and how to work together without words. In a situation like this, explanations took precious time away from action. I feel like that's dangerous. You probably do want to be like, hey guys, I'm actually going to explain the situation, not just let everyone come to their own conclusions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a thing in military where you have to actually like tell people what you're doing.
Yeah.
The reason that military operations take for fucking ever because you have to get permission for everything.
Yes. 12 shouted to the tour guide. Hey, watch yourselves. We're entering shallow waters and there's a bend or obstruction up ahead. He rushed to the helmsman manning the rudder and the idiot wouldn't let go. Quickly, he clipped him on the chin, knocking him out and tried... He did. And tried desperately to turn the rudder in the other direction. Cage and Geek grabbed oars from some stunning quote-unquote Vikings. It's just smacked my microphone. Let's not do that. And attempted to reach the front of the ship to forestall a crash. Jam and Pretty Boy were perched on a gunwale, about to dive overboard and secure the anchor, but it was too late. There was a loud crashing noise, and everyone standing was thrown off their feet by the impact. He glanced up from his prone position, and as if in slow motion, he felt the longboat teeter from side to side in its now dry-docked state, and then tip over. Before he could react to that catastrophe, something even worse happened. The heavy yardarm and mast came crashing down over them. Under the massive heavy sails, he heard screams, cracking wood, cursing, more screams, piercing pain in his head and shoulders, and then silence. So, this is how it ends, he thought, in death.
I mean, well, yeah, that's how life in general does end, yes. Very astute, Rolf.
I like just if that was the end of the story. It's like, I'm going to go travel back in time, goes to Norway, goes on a tourist ship, breaks it,
dies.
Punches a random person who's just at work.
He's just doing his job, man. What the fuck?
And he just dies.
He's just a guy. He just punched a guy.
Even better, I think, if like this is just like a planned course that they've done a lot, and he's just like, no, there's danger. I will take over the ship and steer it into whatever the fuck they crashed on.
I know what's right. Get out of my way, civilians. Oh, Jesus.
All right, we're about to change subject. Men can't live with them, can't live without them. Which is...
Oh god, we're back to these guys.
Yeah, we are. And we're also... What does that say? Just have one unique thought. Ever. Please, Sandra? Just one?
No.
Oh god, I gotta do the women's voices now. I will try to sound like a Monty Python character, just FYI. We need men! Shouted Britta.
He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
That's the idea. Shouted Britta, the big chief archer of the sanctuary and head of its guard. And I got confused because I was like the big chief. And it's like, no, she's just Britta the big. Chief archer of the sanctuary and head of its guard. Truth to tell, they had only 10 axes, 1 broadsword, which hardly anyone could lift, 15 shepherd's crooks converted into lances, long-handled cooking ladles, pokers, wooden clubs, slingshots, and bows and arrows. Alright, Sandra, buddy.
I thought they got a lot of stuff.
Writing hot tip. If you're going to list out like 8 things in a row, that doesn't make it sound like a little. It's a lot. It feels like a lot.
Also, she gives numbers to the first few things and then seems to give up and just list items instead of... Or is it 15 of all of these things?
Nope, I don't think so. It's just...
She just stopped numbering them.
She just stops numbering them. Like, she can't be bothered.
Yeah, can't be bothered. Whatever.
Yep.
Halfway through. Yeah, fuck it.
Every woman practiced weaponry regularly in case of an attack under Britta's supervision. Okay, how many people were there to start with? Wasn't it just like 5 or 6 of them?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I think there was 5 others and then her. I think there was 6 total.
Yeah, so saying that you've got 10 axes and clubs and slingshots and like that sounds like a pretty good number compared to your people.
If you start throwing them, then you're gonna lose them.
True.
Like if you stand on top of your little fort and start throwing axes down, you know, 10's not that many when you. If you're
True.
missing all your shots.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't picturing them yeeting them just like ah.
What else do you do with axes?
I don't know. Hold them and stick the pointy end in people.
Nah, yeet.
Axes for yeeting.
Yep. Axes for yeeting. Yeeting for me. Sorry. Carry on.
Not for me, Britta explained in an aside to Hilda. I speak for the others. Britta's chant was taken up by the 60 women in... What? Britta's chant was taken up by the 60 other women in the inner courtyard of the sanctuary. We need men! We need men! Hilda put her face in her hands, counted to 10 silently, and said with forged patience, "Men are scurvy curs." Alright. So, there's just now 60 of them. We've only described 5, and we've
like
got
a time skip or something. Maybe they were like the first ones to arrive, and then like more are coming.
Maybe. We don't know that at the moment.
She's done nothing to explain it, but I'm trying to just decipher it.
Stig and his new bitch growled at her feet with doggy consternation. What do I describe the fact that you now have 2 dogs?
My new bitch. Okay.
We have flourished in these past 5 years without men. It matters not. Now they need men, Britta asserted. Hilda flung her hands out with disbelief. Truly, Britta? Must needs we cower under a man's shield for protection? Britta, who was as tall as a man with wide shoulders and muscled arms, stiffened. Nay, not for our defences. I'm on Britta's side, to be honest. She sounds badass. I like her.
I'm sorry, but they seem to not realise that lesbianism exists. And you don't need men to have sex.
Are they really just that horny? We need men!
Well, they said not for our defences. Like, as in I took that to mean she's implying, no, we don't need them for defense. We need them for smooshing.
That's true. Yeah, actually, nay, not for our defences. All of the women sat on the ground in a 5-deep circle under the warm autumn sun. The law speaker, Kelda Sigendotter, had already recited the Thing law codes of their female community, calling on Forseti, god of justice, for guidance. What Thing is capitalized, by the way. Thing.
Yeah, the Thing from Fantastic Four.
Was held to discuss problems and settle disputes. Okay. Again, conspiracy theory. Did she mean to put in another word and just wrote thing as a placeholder and forgot to change it?
I think so. Either that or she's making her characters really uncreative.
Yeah, she had recited
They
the
couldn't think of
thing law
anything.
codes.
So they just called it a thing.
A thing was held.
I feel like thing is not a word that was around at that point. It seems like a more modern word to say like a thing or a thingy.
Yeah. Well, thingy is not on the table. Alright, I'm gonna start calling it thingy though, but that makes more sense.
Yeah.
A thingy was held to discuss problems and settle disputes. Minor quarrels had already been resolved today by the debating of both sides on the issues. 2 women fighting over a fox fur pelt, a girl negligent in her kitchen duties, an argument over which was the best recipe for curing cheese curds for skyr, a game of Hinnafatadal. Hinnafatafel.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that.
HNEFATAFL.
Yep.
Hnafatafel.
A game of Finnafatatl.
Hnafatafel.
That went badly, resulting in a black eye and a bloody shin, weevils and a sack of flour, a smelly garderobe. It had been 5 years since Hilda arrived at Deerhaven, now at the sanctuary. Yeah, it has been 5 years. It's been a time skip. The first year had been brutal. After they had feared either freezing to death in the cold fortress, or starving to death, or being discovered by Steinolf and his comrades in cruelty, more escapees had made their way to safety, increasing their numbers. Only occasionally did they have to fend off invaders, small bands of errant knaves. Steinolf was busy grabbing lands in the surrounding countries. Hilda acted as head of this community, much like an abbess in a nunnery or a chief crone in a witch's coven, which was the word they had spread to keep men away. But really, everyone was equal here, all assigned duties for which they were best suited. Now, after all this healing and prosperity, they want men here? Ha! I will welcome a Valkyrie if all that happens. Frida.
I will become a Valkyrie.
Oh, become a Valkyrie. Oh, whatever. These sentences make no sense anyway. Frida, do our hunters not bring you enough woodcock, grouse, geese, hares, foxes, reindeer, pluck, plover, and the occasional boar? Do the fisherwomen not catch you enough pike, roach, rudd, sea bream, perch, eel, herring, cod, haddock, ling, mackerel, smelt, and lampreys? Holy shit, that's a lot.
Fucking... You just say fish, bitch. Just say fish.
It's like, look how much research I did to what they ate back then. They ate fish.
Jesus Christ. There's so many different types of fish.
A blush crept over the cook's face. And speaking of bounty, Frida was now the size of a small warhorse due to that bounty. Wait, what?
Wow, okay. Fat-shaming Frida.
Was she, okay, it is. I thought for a second that she was pregnant. Okay.
No.
She's just chubby.
Just fat. Yes.
Inga, will the goats produce more milk, or the rams swive more sheep to increase our flocks if a man were tending them? You know they will not, Inga replied with a touch of affront. Inga, who was the same age as Hilda at 20 and 8, was in charge of all the animals, her original flock of 1 ram and 2 ewes having multiplied into 4 rams, 20 ewes, and 25 lambs, not to mention the 10 goats they kept for milk. Dost envision Viking men tending your gardens, Dagna, or playing your lute on a long winter's eve? Dagna, still folk-shy, lowered her eyes and shook her head sharply. She was 17 now and had just begun to speak again in this past winter. Her recovery had taken longer than most. Astrid, a bitter woman who spoke with a slight slur due to her mutilated tongue, gave Hilda no chance to question her. And nay, not a man. I do not need a man to gather honey and meddle in the making of mead and candles.
She has a slur. Really.
I will not do that. Also, what? But like, it was a cut tongue, wasn't it? What do you
cut off the tip of her tongue? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an anti-lisp. Lisp is too much tongue. So it's more like, I'm gonna talk like this.
Well, it says slur, not lisp. I said lisp.
You said lisp. Slight slur. I don't think... Neither of those is correct. I'm still just going to do it like a stupid Monty Python character. Elise, now 23, giggled when Hilda's eyes lit on her. Never in all her life had Hilda encountered such a cheerful person. No longer a thrall, Elise organized all of the spinning wool and weaving of cloth. A sizable enterprise for 60 women. 'Tis laughable picturing men in their big dirty hands working a spindle or weaving cloth. Still, others in the community were cleaning maids, laundresses, gardeners, woodworkers, carpenters, and various other occupations. Each had an opinion on the man's situation. Bemused, Hilda was only half attending, as the women continued to chatter amongst themselves. Finally, she put her hands on her hips and said, loud enough to override the voices, "Krrrr!"
Cardi B.
Oh,
whatever the fuck he says.
Then she repeated, "Quiet!" When everyone gave their full attention, she asked, "What is amiss here?" Inga spoke for the rest. "We need men." "Build hell! All of us have suffered in one way or another from the misdeeds of men. You would allow men and their brutish urges to slake their lust on us?" "Yea and nay," Inga answered. Hilda arched her eyebrows. Again, it's not smut unless there's arching of eyebrows. And what's the other one? It's like rolling of eyes. We've already had both.
Rolling of eyes is just something people do.
Yeah. Well, yes, but
roll my eyes all the time.
Yes, but same with the arching of eyebrows. I do that all the time, but you have to mention it. Is the springtime sap rising in you women? You may not have the dangly parts, but have you become lustsome like nature's animals? The ram, the bull, the rooster, and men? By Odin, that is it, is it not? Bitch is slut-shaming. Inga's face reddened, as did
Go
others.
at each other. Jesus
Not
Christ.
precisely.
They don't even consider it as an option.
Yeah, I think Elise considers it as an option. Getting a gay vibe. Inga's face reddened, as did others. Not precisely. If not a craving for a good tup, then what? Hilda could be frank of manner when the occasion warranted. As one, all the women answered, children.
Oh, God.
Actually, that's the next line. Hilda sighed. The maternal instinct. But you must know, bringing men into this community would change things. You say us wrong, milady, Inga said. We need them for the breeding only, not for a lifetime. Oh, no. Oh, no. I hate where this is going. Is going.
Don't like this at all.
Hilda laughed. You expect us to bring men here for the mating and then dismiss them when they're no longer useful. Men do it all the time, one voice shouted.
Okay, she does have a point there.
Also, like, I'm kind of not mad at the idea of come, breed around, fuck off. It'll only take you a couple days.
Yeah.
Depending on the age. If you get a 17-year-old, actually no, like an 18-year-old, legal age, yeah, you can sort of pop off a bit quicker than if you're like 40. That I own, but 'twould bode as ill if Steinhoff's men learned the exact whereabouts of our refuge from those discards. There might be a way, Britta said. We could kidnap them and bind their eyes with cloth. Hilda's jaw dropped. They would be outraged. They would never accept us on those terms. Ha! Wait, it's Dagna. Oh, I don't know. How do I do the young child? I don't know what to... Oh, whatever.
She's like 15 now.
Yeah.
17 now.
17.
She just sounds normal.
They would have no choice if they was chained to a bedchamber wall. Wow. Wow. Guys, after what you were described going through in the first chapter, this is what you're advocating for?
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't know if they're going to draw those parallels.
It was young Dagna who spoke to Hilda's surprise. Others found great amusement in that prospect. Hilda had to raise a hand to quell the laughter and ribald remarks. We must not make a hasty decision. Let us think on the matter and discuss it again at next month's thingy. Mayhaps the norths on the faint will guide us. Everyone nodded.
I was hoping that she was going to say something against that, but
nope.
guess not.
Nope. I
Can't rely on Hilda.
Nope. They're not that self-aware.
No, they think it's so funny.
Everyone nodded and went off, a betwitted mass of laughter and giggles. They had not yet convinced her. Far from it. 2 Senites later. Why did you say knights? 2 Senites later, it appeared as if the Norns had indeed intervened. They were in the midst of clipping thorns out of a dumb sheep who had waded unknowingly into a briar patch. Okay, I just want to point out that they're using things like Senites and like they're using all this weird language in the middle, which again, she's clearly just Googled like Norse terms for things. And yet she's still using just a dumb sheep. No one is.
Yeah. Like either commit to the bit or don't.
Yeah, like I just kind of feels like she's thrown in some words haphazardly. Like I'm picturing her with about the writing skill of E.L. James.
Oh God, I honestly don't know which one's worse right now.
Yes.
At least E.L. James kept certain things out of her books.
True.
So.
Canonically, there was never any rape in 50 Shades.
There was sexual assault, but not rape.
There was sexual assault. No one got raped. No animals were ever involved. That's a plus.
God. Yeah.
Yes. Thorns out of a dumb sheep who had wandered unknowingly into a briar patch. 'Twas a sweaty, stinksome, the fuck? Greasy job, which could not wait until spring shearing. But then the call to arms came. Danger! Grab your weapons! Come quickly! One of Brita's sentries yelled, running up the motte, lance in hand. Our longship has wrecked, and there are men!
Gee, I wonder who that is.
Instantly, the community of women gathered weapons. Their demeanor bespoke a mixture of shock and exhilaration. Are they armed? How many are there? Best I bring ropes to tie them up. The gods have answered our prayers! I hope there's a flaxen-haired one. I do so want a flaxen-haired bairn. Not me. Black-haired men are more virile. Who told you that? Makes no difference as long as there are seeds in the pods. Seeds in the pods? Oh, good gods. Again, that was written there. Very occasionally, I will actually agree with the sentences, mostly when it's like, oh god, please shut up. Are any of them comely? Not that matters. In the dark, all men parts look the same.
Jesus Christ. This book.
I heard my brother make that self-same remark about women. Much giggling and huffing and puffing followed. Again, you're being attacked, or at least you think you're being attacked. Why are you making...
Very relaxed.
Yeah, like, oh, let's have some more dick jokes.
Schlongs.
We'll grab the axes and then make the dick jokes. I have landed in the middle of mayhem with a flock of randy, lacquid women warriors, and none of them are considering the fact that it might be Steinolf and his men. Raising her hand, Hilda signaled for them to stop behind a ridge of trees, the very place where they had spent many a day building the dam in the fjord, stone by stone. There had indeed been a shipwreck. The longboat lay on its side, splintered, but even more disastrous to those aboard, the collision must have caused the mast and the yardarm to fall, crushing those beneath. The vessel had to be travelling fast to hit the low water and then the dam itself, Inga noted. The captain of the dragon ship must have been incompetent to have failed to see the obstruction up ahead, Britta commented, or else he was drucken.
It was drucken.
Drucken.
Like, you could just say drunk. Why put in the one word when the rest of it is already in English? Like, we know what...
And she italicized it, meaning it's special.
Yeah. If it was like a word that didn't have a direct translation in English, then okay, fine. But we have a word for it. Drinking or drunk or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she just means drunk, right?
Yeah, that means drunk, surely.
Yeah, he was drunk and therefore he crashed his boat.
Yeah. Logical, yes.
They approached the longboat cautiously, many of them grim-faced, with disappointment at the severity of the wreckage. Be careful, she cautioned. But what she really thought was, they are probably all dead. And oddly, she was disappointed. And that's the end of chapter 2. Okay,
Wow,
well at least they're in the same
bitch.
place now. But Jesus, Hilda's a bitch, Trove is a buzzkill.
Yeah, they're like the least fun people ever.
She should rename it Bitch and Buzzkill, at least it still alliterates.
Bitch and buzzkill. Yeah, God.
Oh my god, this fucking book.
I don't know how we're gonna get through this. There is so much unpleasantness in this book.
I'm just gonna... how many chapters are there? There's... fuck, that's the epilogue. I'm not reading the content, I'm just like scamming for the... Chapter 23. There's 23 chapters. And that's like 300 pages.
Awesome. Well, we're up to page 27 now, so that's pretty good, like, headway we've made.
Yeah, we're getting through it. That's...
like 2 a time. More if we can be bothered.
Oh my god. This is gonna take forever.
I mean, we don't have to finish the book.
No,
I'm gonna just put that you know.
No, we don't. I have to finish the book. Wow, this was something. Also, again, it's written so weirdly. Like, I know that they complained about this with the E.L. James one as well. Just that there's something about bad the lack of flow and the weird spellings, the weird names. It's just really hard to read.
Why one of the most important things is reading your own writing out loud. Because if you can't read it easily, it's not easy to read either. You know?
Yeah.
It's unpleasant to read. If you can't read it out loud and it doesn't, that's the best way to tell how it flows. Because something could sound good in your head, but then when you try and say it out loud, you're like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So always read your shit out loud.
And your brain's gonna, like, catch on things and stuff. And, like, you can never fix that 100%, but it's happening so often.
This has been a lot. It's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
I don't feel great making fun of the rape victims, you know? Like, I feel like they're so terrible, but also I'm like, I don't know if we should make fun of them. I mean, like...
But they're also actively advocating for raping other people. Let's kidnap
like,
them, tie them up, blindfold them, and tie them to shit, and then...
Yeah,
you know,
we've been through bad stuff, so let's just rape them in return, because, you know, that makes everything better. Oh my goodness.
Hilda might be a bitch, but at least she has a point with, like, guys, we're still fugitives from, like, a bad guy. Can we not?
Can we just have sex with each other instead, please? And can you all calm down? No? Okay, great. No, we need the D.
Like, you really
babies.
need kids that much? Like, and it's not even something to do with, like, we need to keep the, like, people going, the community, and we need to produce young'uns. Like, no, it's just straight up, we need babies. We want babies.
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 My God.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have been streaming now for, about 2 hours. Just over 2 hours.
That seems like a good spot to stop.
It seems like a good spot to stop. So,
what will happen next in the exciting question mark adventures?
They're definitely not gonna fuck. Can
Tarolf
tell you that.
and Hilda. No, that would be ridiculous.
Yep.
Tarolf. I wonder if his seals are okay.
Not his seals.
I bet you anything they're all just fucking dead, and we got all of that introduction to be like, look, don't you love them? Aren't you going to be sad when they died? And we're just like, no.
I have a feeling they're not, because they've given so much description as to how much they wanted to fuck. I feel like they're going to come into the compound of women and be like, yeah, fucking!
Yeah.
Just, like, to be fair, I actually don't know which one is worse.
Oh,
no, I do. The fucking is worse. I would rather they died.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, like, yeah. Oh, well.
I mean, narratively it's worse to like, just to kill off half your cast to start with.
I'm sure they're fine.
But also, this cast, I could really use some culling. I can't keep everyone straight. There's 6 men or something, and then there's so many women as well. There's Inga and Britta and Hilda and Dagna, and they all end with
Yeah.
Although, actually, to be fair, that's better than Jam and Pretty Boy and Cage and Geek.
Yeah, honestly, I'll take the Norse names over the,
is Sandra Hill just, like...
His name is Max. Why is Tarolf's nickname Max?
And also, he's never been called it. It's just like, by the way, he's known as Max to his friends.
No, they called him that a few times. There were a few instances of
it. Did they?
It did happen, yes,
okay.
It did happen.
Okay. I just remember it being like, he's called Max. Goes back to calling him Tarolf.
I don't think they ever called him Tarolf, actually. I think he just calls himself Tarolf. I don't know, they very rarely call him by name, as far as I can see.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, well, we shall see in the next
installment. In the next installment of Rough and or Ready. It's definitely rough, can say that. We were not ready.
Definitely rough. Jesus Christ. I don't think I'm ready, but it's definitely rough. Oh, rough draft is what this screams.
Yes. I like to imagine she's typing it on a BlackBerry, just like 50 Shades was.
Oh God. I don't want to imagine that. I don't want to imagine this book full stop. I want it to go away and leave me alone.
Yeah, I'm gonna think twice before reading this one again, from the, at least from the start, because Jesus.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Also, note for future, we definitely need content warning on the start of these books.
Yes, let's do that next time.
It's hard because
content warning.
Yeah, part of me wants to read ahead and know what we're actually in for, and be like, oh, by the way, we're gonna mention this stuff. Things like the horse bit, right? That would have been good to know up front. But also, you don't wanna, because you want to come across it naturally as part of the read. That's the point.
Yeah, for sure. It's a hard line to walk. If we
Yep.
were pre-recording this, that would be a little bit easier. Then we could stick in a note beforehand.
Well, I'm gonna add those notes to the video before I post it.
Fair enough.
Which, yeah, at this point, we're getting
Alright.
kind of meta with it. Alrighty. We're pretty much out of content at this point. We're just sitting here, head in hands. Except that's what her characters do, and now she's ruined that for me for at least the next day.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed and just stare at the ceiling for a while and try to remember that good books still exist.
Because I definitely noted that. I noted that both of her characters express their frustration by putting their head in their hands and counting to 10, which is also so specific.
Did that happen at all?
Yep.
I didn't notice that.
Twice. Tarolf did it, and then she did it.
Oh. I did not notice that.
I'm not gonna go back for proof. I can't be bothered. I don't want to read this book again.
That's fair.
There's a reason this is called Prose and Pain. This is pain.
We are indeed in pain.
You can be prose, I can be pain. Alrighty. This is the pit where I address the hypothetical audience. Thank you if anyone actually watches this. This has been the first episode. We'll get to this again. We may continue Rough and Ready. We may change to something else if we decide that Sandra Hill's just enough.
Too much, perhaps.
Yes. Yes, but then I don't what is the sign off? Thank you for watching. Channel go in next time if you like our content.
Comment and subscribe.
Subscribble.
Subscribble.
Hey, what do you call a werewolf YouTuber? A like and subscribe.
I'm leaving. Bye.
We are leaving. All right. Adios.
Bye.